Okay, first of all, shout out to Jay-Z in this time of him being preyed upon probably by this ridiculous lawsuit from this 13-year-old, but that's another topic. I want to get into part two of my analysis of Jay-Z and DeHaven. Now, DeHaven is going to go into explaining, at some point, Jay-Z and them kind of blamed DeHaven for caving, implied he did some type of informing, but he explains why that's not what happened. And in fact, I found a big newspaper article out of the Baltimore paper, because it was a big deal. It's from 1999, saying he was absolutely tortured by the case. A federal judge has acquitted 3 men accused of being Eastern Shore D dealers, ruling the government did not prove they were involved in the conspiracy in which they were charged. It is far more important that the rule of law be upheld, even if the price is that 3 people engaged in dealing DRUGs go free, the judge said. It dismayed the U.S. Attorney's Office, who had won a seemingly steady stream of major convictions involving conspiracies, including one this week of the infamous John Liddy Jones. So this is the same guy that did the case of the guy that was interviewed in my Frank Matthews documentary. Howard Margolis, attorney for defendant DeHaven John Irby, said his client broke down in tears when Motz announced his decision. Irby had 2 previous drug convictions and faced a lengthy prison term. But Margulis said Irby, 30, had not been involved in dealing for 5 years and had moved to North Carolina, where he worked for a hospital. He had taken a turn for a better in his life. So basically, this is the case. So there was 2 overlapping conspiracies. There was a guy named Cleavon Tyrone Johnson in, I think, there's a couple cities in the Eastern Shore. The Eastern Shore it's not really suburban Baltimore. It's a part of Maryland that has some kind of small rundown, well, it has some nice towns, it has some small rundown towns where there's some DRUG activity, and that's where Jay-Z, Emory, and DeHaven were working at one point, and then they stopped. And this Jay-Z was apparently, right at the time In My Lifetime was coming out, Jay-Z was still doing some stuff down in Maryland, so that all that stuff about him being some big kingpin, maybe, unless there was Desiree Perez's husband, OG Juan, but that's another story. But so there was a conspiracy that involved Emory Jones. Emory, who got out, salute to him, that Jay-Z's been looking out for, and this guy, Cleavon Tyrone Johnson. And somehow DeHaven's name was still kind of mixed up down there, but he had stopped for 5 years. And in this case, the Baltimore attorney, Rod Rosenstein, who was very aggressive, tried to combine these 2 conspiracies, what DeHaven and them had done 6-7 years prior, because he had stopped at this point, and what Emory and them were doing then. And the judge said it's just too much. As we know, they love making these RICOs and tying different people together, but in this instance, he put his foot down and said, listen, Mr. DeHaven hasn't been involved in anything for over 5 years. Wasn't because he told on anything. And Cleavon Tyrone Johnson and Emory got their 11 or 12 year sentences. Emory got out, of course, and went on to work with New Balance and all kind of stuff with Jay-Z. Unfortunately for Mr. Cleavon Johnson, who also, him and Emory got out a couple years early when they did the sentencing reduction some years back. Emory went on to work with Jay-Z, or had jobs lined up with Jay-Z. That was his man. Cleavon Johnson was not out for six months. Let's see. Cleavon. Okay, so Mr. Johnson got out early. Johnson was released from federal prison in December 2010. So these guys, Emory and them, had this case back in 99-ish. after his sentence for an earlier conviction for dealing crack was reduced. Within 1 month, Mr. Johnson was back in the business of dealing. Mr. Johnson did not learn the first time he went to prison, and he got caught. They ran in a house that they connected him to 10 bricks, bricked up another loose brick, a quarter of cooked, and some other stuff. And then he had a address in Baltimore that had paraphernalia and some money. And they gave him another 11 years. So that's back in 2011. And he's out yet again. So he just recently got out. Wish him the best. But so that's the chaos of these conspiracy cases. Jay-Z and DeHaven kind of stopped, I guess, in 95, 6 when the music started going. Jay-Z did the music, DeHaven went and got a regular job. Emory was still doing his thing. He gets caught in a conspiracy. They try to put DeHaven in it from his name being associated years back. The judge puts his foot down and says no. That's why Emory got locked up. He was still, according to the feds, doing stuff. He got out, changed his life around, and this Cleavon Ty Johnson wasn't out a couple more months, got another case and did another 10 or 11. So it's a roll of the dice out there in the streets. I'll let DeHaven tell you the story.
When did Jay start going back to New York and meeting Dame and trying to get back into the music heavy, or was he always back and forth?
Nah, he was always back and forth in the music. When we go to New York, I'm going to take care of business and run the street. Jay go in the studio and mess with music.
And how long of a drive? Like it's what, like 5 hours?
No, yeah, it's 4 hours, 5 hours.
So you could damn near go up. You didn't even have to spend a night necessarily.
This is what I'm telling you. This is why my trips, like, I would flip this money so fast. Like, if I'm gonna sell 4 bricks and I gotta sell for four more bricks, I'm going to get that, and you know.
So you're going a couple times a week sometimes.
Yeah, up into my connect said, don't come back up here with all that money. We'll come and get it. We don't even need you. Don't come up here no more. Like, you know, things, like I said, when you get to a certain level in this shit, man, it gets
They make it easy for you.
Yeah, they make it easier for you. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of got to that point. Because I was carrying a lot. I was carrying a load, bro. I was carrying a serious load of guys with me. I had not just Jay and them with me. I had another team of guys down there. And plus, just dealing with the connect, I used to owe them $250,000 every other time, $500,000. You know, I try to explain to.
So you guys got fairly big. You got fairly big.
It's not easy. It wasn't. You know, I don't want people to think this shit is death status is easy.
No, a lot can go wrong.
A lot could go wrong. Like you have more to worry about than so much. Like, where to put money, where to put work, who to trust. Like, just thinking back how hard, it really is hard, man. It really is. And then shaking the police at the same time, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, I took this to a level of just making sure everybody was eating. And
do you remember him meeting Dame Dash and Biggs and all that?
Okay, I remember him meeting Dame Dash coming to me, and I remember him bringing Dame Dash to me. Yo, this is Dame. Dame this is what he do. This is how he can help me. Yo, and I was for anything that made Jay, yo, if it helps, I'm with you. If you say
Did Dame, what was Dame? He has a pretty well-developed big personality, whether you like it or don't like it, but was he like that then, or was he a little more? Okay.
Nah. He wasn't near like he was. You know what I'm saying? And I got a story like so yeah, I met Dame, and he said Dame was a good person, this and that and the third, and that shit started working out for him. You know what I'm saying? Things started working out, and then I remember having a conversation with Dame, and I remember Dame asking me clearly, yo, I need your help. This is what I want to do. I want to get our own label. I want to do our own shit. I want to do this. I need your help.
Ah.
You know what I'm saying? I got, I just need your help. And my help did what it was supposed to do. I was sitting in his house when the label came, when the record came, and how happy he was. I was sitting there.
Boy, did you ever think of getting in the paperwork of like being part of, or you didn't really?
Okay, two things. One, I trust, if things was going to work out, I trust Jay. You get what I'm saying? And the second thing was, people got to understand, like, there wasn't no money in it, really. Back then.
Did you feel like you were just appeasing your friend's hobby almost?
Right. Like, there wasn't no money in it. I just enjoyed him being happy. This is what he do. I remember sitting around. I've been sitting around caning them with it, just sitting there like, this ain't me. Like, these dudes, I got more money than these dudes. You know what I'm saying? I was bored sitting in the studio.
Rap wasn't about that then. It was about
it wasn't about that. That's what I said. So I wasn't that interested in being in some paperwork. What I'm gonna need that for? This is my brother right here. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that Dame asked me to help him, and I did that. I brought people to him. I brought people to help, and it worked out. Only for me now, when I started to think about it on the business aspect, right? I ended up booking Jay, booking Jay and to come and do a show in South Carolina for me. Right?
So you got into promotion? Were you doing other promotion?
Yeah, I tried to get into promotion, right? You know what I'm saying? Okay. I seen a light of it, you know what I mean? So I do this South Carolina thing, and I've spent a whole lot of money trying to put this together. And I put the awesome show, I put an awesome production, all the shit together, and it flopped.
Yeah, those things, people don't know, that's a rough bit. Promotion, you can have the best thing. It could snow or rain that night or anything. Something else is going on.
And it flopped, right? And when it flopped, me and Dane got into a confrontation about some money. And I'm sitting here listening to this.
What year is this? What year is this?
This is 90. What year he done that with Foxy? Ain't no nigga. That was coming
96.
That was hot, yeah. See, they didn't know of him in the South. They wasn't feeling him.
Oh, so at this point, he's bubbling. Yeah,
that's out.
So he was still messing around with you, getting money all the way up till
the confrontation, right? Right, and mind you, I got a slew of young boys down there from South Carolina that was with me and shit, and they seen how Dane was talking. They really wasn't gonna let Dane come back. Only thing saved Dane was he had his kid with him. Oh. Rebels, you speaking for real. The only thing saved him was he had his kid with him. I was like, yo, bro, and I was really extremely upset because I felt Jay didn't step in when he was supposed to step in and say, yo, Dane, do you realize this nigga helped us put this together, right? What the fuck is you doing? But Jay ain't speak up for me, which made me feel like
something had changed.
Something changed, and not only something changed, you gave this Dame you showed him some weakness in our relationship.
Unless it had become in his mind, his relationship with him was more important than with you.
You know what I'm saying? And that's something I would have never did with Jay, you know what I'm saying, at no time. You know what I'm saying? So that right there had me, looking at Jay sideways, like, I can't believe this guy, didn't say anything. He should have really just spoke up for me like that. And I couldn't believe Dane said that and was even acting like that after what I did to put the company together.
But they were popular. You said that was a hit song. They were on the map.
It was a hit song, but they was not feeling them in the South. Trust me.
They were feeling them in New York, though.
Yeah, yeah. And so, that was me and Dane fallout.
Ah.
You know what I'm saying?
So, okay, then when do the legal cases start to come in?
I wasn't just a one-town person. You feel what I'm saying? Where Emory with Cambridge. I wasn't like, I was getting money the whole Eastern Shore in 7, 8 different towns, surrounded towns. Like I was getting money other places, right?
In that same Eastern Shore area, though, right?
Right. But so while I'm on other towns, Jay and Emory has always had a decent relationship. You understand? Mind you, and Jay and Emory actually had some business together.
Separate from you.
Separate from me. Because I was doing nothing. Like what was going on in Cambridge, that was our shit. But I was doing something way bigger. So I kind of took my eye. I wasn't even focusing with Jay, the music, and what was going on. And come to find out, whatever happened with him and Emory ended up going to jail.
What year? 97, maybe?
Emory went to jail. Nah, this was before 97 because it was before because he went to boot camp and came right home. This was like his first case. So this might have been 94, 93, 94, 95, something like that. But he ain't do no time.
Before the music started.
Before the music, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So him and Jay always had this bond afterwards, you know what I'm saying, while I was gone. But keep in mind that I'm the one who put them together. So while they created this thing and shit, I was doing me. So come around 94, I ended up catching a parole violation.
Oh, what did you go into prison for?
I ended up I went to prison for drug.
In Maryland or in New York?
Nah, in Jersey. Remember I tell you I was catching charges in Jersey.
Right. Okay.
I ended up catching a little bid in
like
Jersey.
what, like a year and a half or something?
Man, listen, I did I'll tell that story too. I was facing 7 years and I paid for a year and a day.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Like I was facing
and
7.
Jay was able to keep things was he like the one who kept it going or
yeah, at this time, yeah.
When you went away
when I went away for that I went away for that in 91.
Oh, early.
I went away for that. I got locked up in 91 and came home and I did a year and 4 or 5 months. But yeah, Jay, Emory, my whole crew held shit down. No lie. They
had they made some other outside connects, or they were still dealing with your person?
They still was dealing with the same connect. They wasn't outside of nothing. Everything was still official. Everything was still official, and when I say official, man, they was doing everything they were supposed to be doing, man. Like, and it wasn't just Jay. It was 4 of us. I leave out that because I say Jay is my brother, but it's been 4 of us, the Rock Boys, for real, the real 4 Rock Boys.
Ah, okay.
It's been 4 of us the whole time. One of my guys is in Panama, and the other guy passed away. My Uncle Buzz. It was 4 of us. So
he was deported to Panama?
Yeah. So where was I?
So you caught a case 91.
Yeah, of course. 91,
you got in an argument with Dame in South Carolina, and that's when the rift started. Yeah,
the rift started with that, and then that's when after that I caught a parole violation, and this is when the shit started. Like I caught a parole violation, and while I'm sitting in there, at that time I know I probably got a $50,000 every other week operation going on, and I'm just sitting in there, right? And then
but you got there's no bail because it's a parole.
Listen, no bail. Nah, I got a parole violation. I owed him. Matter of fact, I flipped the table over because I owed them 4 months. They only owned him 4 months and shit. You know what I mean? So they came for a parole, the hearing and shit. I flipped the table over and said, yeah, I'll max out on this shit. You know what I'm saying? But for the whole, 90 days or something like that I was in there, I'm trying to figure out what's going on in the street. I'm not hearing anything from the street. I'm not hearing from nobody.
So this is when it all fell apart.
I'm not hearing from nobody. I'm not hearing from none of my clients. I'm not hearing from nobody. And I'm finding this odd. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Is Jay visiting you? Are you talking to him?
No, he's not. No visits, no talking, no phone call, no nothing. This is unusual. So,
but the song's out at this point.
No songs out. No songs.
Oh, this is before the argument with Dame.
This is before the argument with Dame. After parole violation, this is after parole violation. Yeah, this is after Dame. All this is afterwards. You know what I'm saying? All this is afterwards because it was already tension there.
So I'm saying at this point, the song with Foxy Brown's already out.
Yeah, that's already out. Yeah.
So his career is about to is taking off.
It's taking off. It's taking off. So
so for him, the drugs was coming to an end and the music was starting, but
yeah,
for you,
you would think that the drugs was coming to an end. So this 94 situation, like I said, when I was locked up, Jay took it upon himself to call my connect, set up some business, and just start doing shit on his own.
And not cutting you in.
Not saying shit, right? So I don't know nothing that's going on. I don't know anything that's going on in there. I'm just sitting in there in the blind, like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. So after I finished maxing out, I could get home on the street. One of my closest right-hand mans come to me and shit, and he said, yo, before, anybody start to tell you whatever shit, you know what I'm saying? This is what happened. I caught him messing with folks that he shouldn't have been messing with.
The plug.
You know what I'm saying? He says that he could have wasted him, but I didn't for the love of you. You understand? I could have wasted him, but I didn't for the love of you. You know what I'm saying?
This would have been up in New York?
Yeah. So right then and there, after I diffused all of that shit, because I had to tell my peoples yo, please call that shit off. That's, let it be. We all from the same set. We all grew up together, man. I've never wanted to see someone lose their life in the game with me. That's just been one thing about my case, that in the Fed, when you look at my case, period, they talk about a lot of money. They talk about a lot of snitches that snitched, but one thing for sure, it wasn't no guns and murders up in my shit. It was I only thought about just getting money. When it came to violence and shit like that, bro, I really tried to avoid that throughout my whole hustling career. You know what I'm saying? If you beat me for some work, then you beat me for some work, bro. That's on you. You know what I'm saying? That's what type of guy I am. And guess what? If you beat me, you'll beat somebody else, and they're not going to take it so lightly. That's how I look at shit.
And that's part of in the street, I mean, there's always going to be people owing you money. That's just part of what it is.
That's just part of what it is.
As long as you keep it minimized. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, I never wanted no violence and shit. So, I would go the other way. And I seen all of that coming. You know what I'm saying? After I diffused that, Jay took that personally. Coming to find out up until now that he says that he's thinking that I sent that person to do that.
Mm. But nothing happened, or he felt the danger.
He heard them shots ringing off, but he ain't get hit. You know what I'm saying? He heard them shots going off, but he ain't get hit.
Some shots, were they fired kind of in the air to scare him, or not really at him?
Nah, they didn't want it. It could have been done. So yeah. That it just scared him. And when I say it
Oh, so
scared
it
him,
got pretty serious.
it got serious to a point of here I am with my right hand man and my little brother. Like, it's a fucked up situation. You know what I'm saying? But my right hand man is right. Like, you know what I'm saying? The key point was, yo, bro, if he is steal from you, man, you don't know what he'll do for you.
What? Okay, and this is kind of only reason I asked this because Dame Dash always talks about he was bottling up and selling drugs. I'm sure you don't know anything in particular. Well, he always references it. Did it feel like them guys had money too, like a lot of money, Biggs and Dame, or you couldn't tell? I know he was throwing parties, or you don't know.
Man, listen. I don't know. At some point, they ran into a better connect.
Was that
at some
Rosie?
point,
Was that Desiree
at some
Perez's
point,
husband?
listen, when we fell out, at some point, I guess they ran into some major connect, right? When I say this is how it all folds down. They run into some major connect. And at that time, here we are, we talking about 95, 96, 95, because this is when I quit. I quit in 95. I quit because, like I said, I got a gut feeling. And I quit because they had shit out of order. Emory had shit way out of control.
Oh, doing too much, too many people?
He was doing too much. Too many people, anybody. All the rules are broken. And that right there, a red light go off in my head. Like, nah, this shit ain't gonna be work. And plus, I couldn't get the same money no more. Because these dudes are bringing, like, if the prices are so low, you like, yo, what the fuck y'all doing? So I couldn't get no money no more. So the best thing it was going to be doing was, the conversation was either get rid of them guys to keep my business flowing, or just leave it alone. And my choices was always going to be, yo, I leave it alone. I've been getting money. I know how to get money. So I let that go. I let Cambridge go. I packed my cash up and left. And when I left in 95, 3 years later, here come this case.
And that was the one that Emory ended up doing time for.
Exactly.
So we want to, there's so much we can do. Let's just end, give us a little intro into that.
So that's when the case starts.
So you're up in New York doing legal stuff.
No, I packed up and moved down south.
And you're chilling, or what were you doing?
And
what were you trying to, did you have a business, or what were you trying to do?
Actually, no. Actually, I'll be keeping 100. Actually, what I was doing down in Cambridge and Eastern Shore, it was 10 times better in North Carolina.
Mm.
It was 10 times better in North Carolina, but I wasn't as loud. I learned not to have a lot of crowd. I didn't need a crowd. I didn't need a crew. I was doing it secretly. That's the thing that, I felt like I'm just blessed, because before the feds picked me up, if they would have just watched for 1 second, they'd have been on to something new.
But they were grabbing you for the old stuff, and they didn't sit on you. They could have saw what you were doing then.
They should have, yeah. And that wasn't even close to what was going on, what I'd done down there. But long story short, they picked me up 3 years later.
And we'll get in the next parts, because you said you want to really do in depth another time, and this is just an intro. Right. But just for the elephant in the room, and we'll end on this. And it's the same thing. I just interviewed Blue Da Vinci. He's vague. Oh, so-and-so snitched. Okay, but it's sort of vague. What did you even supposedly, like, you went to trial and beat it. Like, what is the snitching? Like,
okay, I'll say this. What was the snitching part?
I mean, I know there wasn't, but where does that even come from? Like,
Where did it come from on Jay's side?
Yeah, for people from saying it, yeah.
From saying that like fuck the DeHaven part.
Yeah, for caving, yeah.
Well, that stemmed from the YouTube actually.
He was just mad.
He was mad. He was angry.
So that wasn't implying you caved on Emory or anything.
Nah, but that was an indirect and subliminal, where you got death on you. Like putting that out there, it could have brought me harm. You understand? Like really, it really.
No, listen. So people don't know. I put up a post the other day about one of you might have seen the BMF show. They got B Mickey, who's based on a real guy. In the show, they have him become an informant. Didn't happen in real life. I just put up a post that said that guy didn't since people are bothering him in real life. I met him in the old BMF neighborhood, interviewed him with a bunch of people around. He didn't tell, but because the fictionalized version, people will bother you in real life. People who got nothing to do with it that I guess are groupie. I don't know where that comes from.
Yo,
it's weird.
I mean, it could have got me hurt. It really could have got me hurt. I have had people only online, yo, you a rat type of situation. But when it came to the streets, I believe like a lot of people from in the prisons really protected me in the streets. A lot of people, because a lot of people that was on the inside already knew what was up, already knew what it is. So they was co-signing me out on the street like, nah, that ain't it. So that's what kind of gave me some leverage out here on the street. Other than that, the main thing is, and I'm gonna show you these papers when I'm pull these papers. When you read my charges, like I said, it says on and about 1988 to 96 that I was being investigated.
So there was an investigation open in 88 by who? By the feds or the Maryland State Police? Or
well, I had a Fed case.
Why? Usually cases don't go that long.
Because I guess they was just going on info. They did. I realized
maybe they just opened a file on you in 88 and there was no real investigation.
Okay, so you're right. They don't do it that long. But see, they waited so long on my case with me. Come after 98, come 2001, they come back.
That's when they grabbed you.
No, come back I'm out on bail. Come back 2001, they superseded my indictment.
Oh.
You understand? This what gave me leverage to realize, to think about like, wait a minute. First of all, if you had me on investigation from 96 to from 88 to 96, and I'm in trial and I'm ready to go to trial and y'all not ready yet. So that let me believe that they didn't have nothing.
Yeah, they just had a name. Some informant vaguely said your name, but there was no evidence.
Yeah, but they knew, and I knew, they had the right guy. You know what I'm saying? Me packing up,
waited too long.
Yeah, me packing up, quitting the game fucked them up because they had nothing.
Why do you think they came back? You think that when you were questioned, did they try to? Well, you can just tell them. I'm not gonna say that. Did anyone ever pull you in a room and start asking about Jay-Z?
Yo, the funny thing is, his name never came up.
Well, as I said in my video, and we were talking about, and we can talk in depth later, the whole Desiree Perez.
Yo, his name never came up in my trial, bro.
Seemed like he was protected.
When it started out on my trial, the opening statements was from the state's attorney that I brought a gang of New York people down there. They did not name one of. I was the only one on trial. So I'm like, where's the gang at? If there was a gang, where is that?
Well, they like to allege, they'll do that with murders even. They'll say, well, it's a bunch of murders, but they don't charge them. So it's kind of unfair. It's called alleging something without charging you.
Yeah, exactly. So,
which is bad. Doesn't seem like they should be able to do that.
So when you look at my paperwork, my name is at the top. So you know
a one man indictment?
No, Emory. I had
Emory. Okay.
Emory's my co-defendant. I had another guy, Mr. Johnson, and then when they superseded my indictment, they added 2 more guys on there.
And you went to trial and beat it, right?
And I went to trial, and they just, well, you know what a conspiracy is. A conspiracy is one of you either a part of it or you're not. And I wasn't a part of the conspiracy. And
so the conspiracy they brought on Emory and them was for what had been going on recently.
Yeah, exactly.
Since you left, after you left.
Right. Because listen to me, I did my case myself. I went through papers. I wasn't in. The best evidence I had was the snitch calling me. Because you can hear the conversation with me. Who? Damn, I ain't talked to you in how long? And, that right there was my evidence.
Oh, so someone who you had it's like 5 years ago we did something, what you calling me now for?
Right, you know what I'm saying?
You have no, why do you think I'm doing anything? Like he was just fishing.
Right, so that was my evidence that the feds had him calling me. Like I didn't reach out to these guys. And that's how I beat the case, man. It wasn't no trickery to it. I just wasn't a part of that conspiracy. I listened to all the wiretaps on Emory. I listened to all the paperwork on this shit.
Emory pled guilty, right?
Had to.
Okay, so we'll break this up into some parts, but I think it gives people a good intro. And when are you coming to Vegas?
I'll be in Vegas the 22nd.
Of this month?
Next month for the fight, my boy fight.
Of April. Okay, cool. I'm going to France in May, so I'll be here. All right, perfect. So we'll see each other, and we'll do, or maybe you can come to LA. We'll figure it out. And
we'll figure it out. But let that marinate on, because the case, this is about to get real interested in now how things went once the trials, once I started seeing things in the trial and with my own eyes. Like, okay, you know what I mean? So we're gonna leave that one.
Okay, all right. Well, thanks for so everyone. You got an intro to DeHaven. Go look at his movie on Tubi. I got the link in the description.
Check out,
and we're gonna pick this up in about 30 days.
Right. Make sure you check out Marcy Made, man. Like I said, I made Marcy Made. That was put together to let them know how much of a bond we had, that we wasn't just
some high school. It's just on Tubi or Amazon?
It's on Tubi and Amazon. It's on Tubi and Amazon. Check it out. It's getting great reviews. I've done good on that.
Tubi's free, you guys. It has commercials in it. It's like YouTube, but you can watch it on there.
That's right. And once again, I appreciate you, Al, having me on your, man. I really think your joint is positive, and you do your work. You know what I'm saying?
Well, this is important stuff. This underground economy affects a lot of people's lives, and interesting that people that are now the so-called spokesmen and heroes of certain segments of society have these tricky backgrounds, like Mr. Carter.
Tricky backgrounds, right? You know what I'm saying? And this is my disclaimer, right? I'm just telling my story. This is my life story on what I've been through, and this is just my story. I don't do this to hate on nobody, and I don't hate nobody.
No, you haven't said anything bad about it. Right. You guys felt...
They know how they are, right? But I like to let people know, man, I'm in a good place right now. I'm in a good place. I have a good life, and I understand. That's why I'm not mad at them, because I understand that it was a different purpose for me. You know what I'm saying? And
in his defense, if I was doing something like that with somebody, and then I had a hit single was about to go, I mean, I don't know how I deal with it, but I certainly try to be very careful.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, just to be honest, right?
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean he had to, leave you high and dry, but so we'll pick it up in about 30 days. Thank you, DeHaven. Go watch the movie Marcy Made on Tubi and Amazon.
That's what's up. All right, man. We out.
American Dope.
American Dope.